My name's Jim Kucher. I've been an entrepreneur for about 30 years now. I've had some successes. I've had some real failures. One of the things you learn, no, that's not my kid. No, I didn't borrow him. I just bought the picture. One of the first things you learn as a young entrepreneur is the stages of funding that you go through to build an enterprise. You understand what each source of capital is. You understand how it works and what it does. They start with bootstrapping. You know, your own money, you raid the piggy bank, you max out your credit card, you sell a kidney, you know, those kinds of things, and you build the enterprise. Sometimes you use what's called friends, family, and fools. Imagine having those guys on your board. Maybe they are on your board, I don't know. But once the idea has some solid thinking behind it, it's time for proof of concept, which is, can we make this thing work? And what happens then is you get what's called an angel investor. And the angel investors are the folks that come in with passion and vision, and they see your idea, and they're willing to put money into this crazy bald-headed guy that has some idea about something. And then once that happens, then you start to get to the really sophisticated investors. Typically venture capital, private equity, and if you can swim with those kind of sharks, and maybe you can, then you move on to the more traditional lenders, which are banks and commercial capital. Basically, it's a well-worn path. Yes, this is your friendly banker. But if you can keep all of those folks happy, which is, by the way, no easy trick, then you just might make it to the big time. You might really make it. You might make the big score. You know, Facebook happened. Maybe, you know, you hit the big time. But what if you don't want to be this guy? What happens if you're building something that has goals beyond the creation of wealth for the investors? What if you want to be more like these guys? Now, you recognize Gandhi, King, maybe Chavez, but there's also Wendy Kopp, Majora Carter, Theaster Gates, who stood here and blew the house down. These are just a handful of folks who are working on ventures that seek a broader set of objectives that include social benefits and economic sustainability in the same business. And for them, the path is a lot murkier. There's folks here tonight that are doing this kind of stuff too. The trail just isn't clear. It's full of fear and doubt. Now, most nonprofits raise their money by grants and gifts. We know that. But when times get tight, like they have been for years now, the capacity to give is dramatically reduced. So they're forced to scramble to find other ways to put the lights on and pay the bills. And that's why you're hearing so much these days about this thing called social enterprise, which is the idea of a business that has a social mission and uses economic income to drive a mission. It's a great strategy. One problem, you still have to build a business, and when you build a business, you need what the investors call patient capital. Patient capital is money that's planted in the ground to grow a venture. It's a series of progressive investments, just like we just sketched out, that follow a path to success. And the problem is, in the social benefit space, it doesn't exist. It's a ladder with rungs missing. So there is hope for this, though. And it's a lot closer than we think, and it's actually your friendly philanthropist, not as a donor, but as an angel investor. What foundations really want is to spark new ideas. They love that. They love sitting around saying, what if we did this? What if we did that? And they like to write checks for it. It's a good thing. They're really good at it. But the problem is they've got all these programs that they're trying to fund ongoing operations. They're just trying to pay the bills, so they don't have any money left to spark that new idea, and it really handcuffs what they're trying to do. The other problem is the folks on the social benefit side doing the mission work are really clinging to some models that just aren't working anymore. And it ties their hands, and it just really, really binds the system up. The answer is right here in front of us. Even though they're good at innovating, most social entrepreneurs still think that foundations are the best source for operating income. And as long as they keep behaving that way, they're going to get the same results. But if they can, a few of them can break away from this, it makes it a lot easier for everybody else to follow suit. There's a lot of things around this. There's something called program-related investments, social impact bonds, a whole bunch of things. The point is that this is not just another corporate social responsibility program. This is real money. You want to know how much real money it is? How's that? If I got your attention now, $165 billion ready now to be deployed in this market. This is not Jim Kucher saying this. This is Morgan Stanley, folks like that have got this kind of money, and it costs you 1/4 the amount that it costs to raise for grants and gifts. Maybe eventually we can stop begging for change and start investing in change. Thank you.